Hey Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me again.
Good to have you. Today we are talking about the city of tomorrow, Utopia, coming to California. Um, this is an investment group uh, that is doing an $800 million venture encompassing over 18,000 acres, where they quietly bought up a lot of low-grade farmland in Solano County between San Francisco and Sacramento. So areas where there really isn't much there. They bought just a ton of land, and they've submitted a ballot initiative to establish an entire new city there. The initiative would give them a lot of flexibility in regards to planning and zoning the new city. Groups called California Forever. They want it to be explicitly zoned to encourage dense housing, public transit, mixed use development, and walkable streets. Uh, they are going to plan on building not like fancy subdivisions or big, single family houses with plenty of land, but really going more the density route, something probably a bit more of a European flavor of a walkable city. Also going to be locating it next to UC Davis, and they have a qualification here that once the community reaches 50,000 residents, no more homes can be built unless an independent auditor confirms that the new community has created at least 15,000 jobs, paying at 125% of Solano's average weekly wage. So they're really trying to build kind of, their version of the perfect ideal city by buying up all this farmland on the quiet. Some of your thoughts on this utopian project.
It sounds like there should be a civil rights movement going towards this because I mean, nothing like requiring good paying local jobs that are defined as making more than the average person's weekly wage there. I mean, a good way to segregate communities. Good job, whoever did this.
Yeah, it is definitely their idea of, like I said, trying to kind of build almost like a modern European type city in California. Of course, those European cities kind of emerge in areas that don't have a lot of land, have to be high density by the nature of things, and this is going to be.
I'm curious,
Mhm.
Steve. Did they give an idea of what the average cost of a since it's not really defined what a residence will be there? I mean,
I
can't
did not.
imagine it's going to be cheap.
Well, so that's one of the interesting things that they're doing here is they're not actually laying out what they're building and how much it's going to cost. They're more putting in a structure where other people can build, but the structure they're putting in is going to require high density. It's going to require building
I
on
think when you say
a
structure, I don't think you mean an actual building structure. I think you mean a
yeah,
structure of rules.
yes, exactly, like a legal structure. Like they're going to have a grid layout where they'll have transit lines running at right of ways. And those transit lines terminate at parking garages at the edge of the city. So they're going to have a layout where you're basically kind of encouraged to drive in, park somewhere, and then get on transit and have a city where there's a layout that really encourages biking and walking around and really discourages uses of cars within it. They've also got an interesting initiative here where they're going to zone for maker and manufacturing districts, uh, where that's kind of modeled on what used to be kind of warehousing districts in older cities. So it's going to be mixed use areas for art, culture, nightlife, lofts, scale artisan manufacturing. So they're trying to embed in this a kind of a cool factor, a young kind of urban vibe baked into this from the beginning in terms of how they're laying it out and what they're going to encourage people to build in different zones and areas.
Maybe I'm missing the cool factor, but to me, it sounds like a modified version of the Hunger Games, where it's like, all you poor people stay out. All you people who want to drive a car stay out. It's just look. I mean, I commend them on wanting to create utopia. However, Sounds like they missed the mark on what they're really trying to do. I think it's really like most government, unintended consequences.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting project to see how it plays out because you're already kind of having those two lines form of one group of people very enthusiastic about this, wanting to see this new city that's kind of painted as this ideal of everybody's going to have good money and it's going to be very walkable. It's going to be very community based, and people thinking that's going to be. And the other side of folks of being like, what do you mean a bunch of billionaires came together and quietly bought land without telling anybody what they're going to do, and now are they going to create their idea of how everybody should live, but isn't actually how they live themselves. So I think we'll probably end up about talking about this one if it keeps going forward because there's definitely a spectrum of how you look at this project, from good to bad. There is a part of me that does kind of feel like the billionaires have got a little ant farm they're playing with, and we're all the ants. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate the thoughts, and if this starts becoming an actual city, we'll comment on it more. Thanks a lot,
Sounds
Jeff.
good. Thanks, Steve.